Hey YouTube, Jay Kilroy back in the shop for a little Feed the Monster. A little unusual Feed the Monster, but we're going to have a Feed the Monster nonetheless. And what I want to talk to you about today is the most important tool in the shop. That also happens to be the most expensive tool in the shop. And what is that? What is the most important tool in the shop? Is it a particular lathe or a particular mill? Is it your measuring equipment? Is it, we've all heard the most important piece of safety equipment is between your ears, but that's not it either. What is the most important tool in the shop? And what is the one thing we all would like to add to our shops? All of us. No one ever complains about having too much of this one thing. What is it? I'll leave you time to comment, contemplate, discuss amongst yourselves. So you've probably come to the conclusion by now. The most important tool in the shop, the most valuable tool in the shop, and the one thing we would all like to add to our shop is space. Shop space. The floor underneath you. It's the joke about horizontal spaces. I mean, who am I to say anything, right? Shop space. You can't ever have too much. It's kind of like clamps, right? You can't ever have too many clamps, right? If you're a woodworker, you can't ever have too many clamps. If you're a fabricator, welder, you can't ever have too many clamps. There's no such thing as too many clamps. There's also no such thing as too much shop space. I have yet to meet an individual that complains about having too much shop space. I have met people that have poorly arranged shops and complain. It's like a poorly arranged kitchen. You're always looking for something. So what we're going to talk about today is shop space and what to do about it. And what I've done for this particular Feed the Monster. All right, so yeah, your shop space is probably the most expensive tool in your shop. Unless you live in a rural area where buildings and property is free, practically free, you spent more and will continue to spend more in the form of maintenance, utilities, taxes, upkeep on your shop than you'll spend on any other tool in the shop, right? And I'm sure anybody out there that's actually running as a shop as a business will also agree that shop space is the most expensive thing that you own. When it comes to storage in a shop, everybody's always trying to do stuff to store more stuff in a shop. I made this cabinet right here, which has our sticker collection on the front. Toolboxes, Kennedy boxes, Equipto, Lion, Vidmar, Stanley, Lista, right? You see these boxes and you think to yourself, dang, those are expensive. I can't afford that. Really? Because I'm here to tell you that yes, you can. You can afford, you would be silly not to invest in quality storage in your shop. Because your other option is getting more shop, which is virtually always more expensive unless you happen to have a shop in San Francisco and you're moving to Nebraska, right? Where you could downsize to a mere, 200,000 square feet. But good storage is worth the money, right? You would rather spend your money on tooling, or rather spend your money on a new machine, or rather spend your money on measuring equipment, or that new CMM that you've had your eye on. Whatever it is, you'd rather spend your money on those kind of things. I understand. It's like fixing up a car. what do you want to spend your money on? You want to spend your money on the engine. But what do you end up spending your money on? Bodywork, right? So, let me show you what I got for this week's Feed the Monster. Just as a little preface, got the big Kearney Trekker over here in the corner. It's a 50 taper machine. 50 taper tool holders are big. They're big and heavy, and they're kind of cumbersome. And I've always had trouble storing them. I've got a Lista cabinet in the corner, big one, 48-inch wide, Lista, tall one in the corner. And I was using 3 or 4 drawers, of which I'm going to show you pictures of these drawers and how the stuff was just laid out in there. Let's do that now. Didn't have any real good storage mechanism. As big as those drawers are, you still can't store a 50 taper tool holder sitting straight up, right? Because they're pretty tall. I also didn't feel safe leaving cutting tools in the tool holders when I put them in the drawer, because they're rolling around. They're going to bang into each other. You're going to chip teeth on end mills or whatever, or you're going to cut yourself, stick your hand in and pull back a bloody nut, right? So didn't want to do that either. What I did was I found a Lista cart, a 50 taper tool cart on eBay cheap, and purchased it. And I was able to get most of those tool holders, not all of them, but most of those tool holders out of that cabinet. And let me show you what I got. Let me bring the camera around. All right, here you go. Here's the cabinet. Try to walk my cell phone around here. It is big and it is heavy. I currently have approximately 30 tool holders stored in this cabinet. I also have a couple of vices down on the bottom. I got some collets down on the end. So here she is. This is a typical kind of Lista tooling cabinet. It's got 30 inserts, 20 in the top, 5 in 2 removable trays. I'm gonna try to get some more of those trays. And so I've got 30 tools stored in here. And this is, here's your typical, I believe this is a Morse Taper 4 tool right here. There's Morse Taper 3. Here's some just regular end mill holders, face mill holders, a ZZ collet holder, long nose, 1.25" holder, ER40 collet holder, TG75 holders here, and here, TG150 holder. Got a little bit of everything. Got some more long nose holders over here, right here. And anyway, it's all very convenient. Over here on this end, I've got collets, TG150s, ER40s, TG75s. And then I got my spindle cleaner tool here. So here's I believe this is ER40 wrench. So I got this, it's a scratch and dent, which means the paint's a little scratched. So this went into, was ordered new. It had some scratches in the paint. Functionally, mechanically, it's fine. They wouldn't ship this to a customer, so I got a real good deal on it. Retail on these things are pretty high. So, but still, what I was able to do is I was able to almost empty completely 4 drawers in my big Lista cabinet in the corner. Well, I had been looking for a new Lista cabinet, another Lista cabinet to kind of add to my collection, and this came along at a real good price and really has allowed me to organize my tooling. I keep basically an old moving blanket thrown over this so that everything doesn't get dusty when I'm not in the shop. Another brief but juicy Feed the Monster. The monster is fed, well fed. Do yourself a favor, invest in good tool storage and organization. It's an investment you'll make once and you will reap the benefits of for a long time. Your time in the shop is more valuable than the things you have in it. So a little organization goes a long way to helping you be productive and therefore getting more enjoyment out of your time. So, and that's what it's really all about. And when it comes to business, same thing. It's just about making money, right? That whole, read up on Six Sigma if you're not already familiar with it. It's optimizing manpower. That's where your expense is. So anyway, learn from it. Until we do another Feed the Monster, until the monster needs to be fed again, be safe in the shop, and I'll be back with you soon.